You're listening to Inside Real Estate with Irv Tremblay on Newstalk 980.
Welcome back to Inside Real Estate. Irv Tremblay sitting across from me right now. Good to see you, sir. Welcome back to the studio.
You too, Bruce.
Now, last time you were here, we were having a cup of coffee, having a friendly little discussion about for sale by owners, because right now it's a bit of a buyer's market, right?
Right.
So you are under the impression that it's not a good idea. Your 30-some-odd years of experience tends to lend you to believe that buyers just, should leave their selling to the professionals.
Well, they should, and so many for sale by owners these days, they believe this myth that they can go on the internet these days and advertise their property, and buyers will come to them, agents will come to them, and really the internet hasn't changed that at all. It really hasn't changed the percentage of for sale by owners that sell versus prior to the internet. It hasn't changed.
So I want to go back to something you just mentioned. It's a myth that agents bring clients, potential buyers, to buy for sale by owner homes?
It doesn't happen very often.
And why not?
Well, as we said in the previous show, there's too many complications. An agent wants to deal with another agent. That's how the system is set up.
Yeah.
It's simple. It's better for your buyer. There's a lot less liability. It's straightforward. The process goes quicker. Your buyer isn't stressed out waiting, 2 days for an answer on the offer. The simplest thing, even getting keys on possession, in the system, most of the time, you have a set way of doing things with the other agent.
Sure.
Your buyer knows when they're getting the keys. When the seller is at work and you can't get a hold of their lawyer and the money's in place and possession doesn't happen. And everybody says, well, I have a lawyer. That's who's looking after me. Possession doesn't happen on time. The chattels that were included are not there. The fridge and stove isn't there. It's a big problem, and typically that problem can only be solved when you're doing it privately by as the buyer, getting your lawyer to take action against the for sale by owner. And so in real estate, that doesn't happen. I'm not saying it never happens, but it doesn't happen as often because you have two competent agents hopefully working to make this a smooth process.
That's right.
So it's very complicated, and that's why agents shy away from bringing an offer. Now, I'm not saying they're not going to show that for sale by owner. But I can tell you they will typically steer their buyer to something on the MLS. And you might say, well, is that fair? Well, they have to look out for their buyer and having contact with the for sale by owner, and if they know they're not priced right, they're afraid of the disclosure statements, all of those things, they'll tell their buyer that and they'll steer them to another home where it might be better for the buyer.
So what is happening when somebody puts up the sign and they're, trying to sell their home by themselves because they want to save the commission, which we learned last time doesn't exactly happen? What happens when all of a sudden a few days later you see a sign up from one of the real estate agencies? What's going on? Are they getting headhunted? Like, what's happening there?
Well, I think that that's just a great question, and here's really my belief. When people go for sale by owner, they go for several reasons.
Right.
First off, and foremost, is that they don't believe they need an agent. They believe that they can sell their property at the same price I can sell the property.
Which is just bad thinking.
Well, it is, but that's what they're thinking, and I guess if I was in their position and really believed that, I'd try and do the same thing. If I took myself away from real estate and said, well, gee, I think I can sell that house for the same price an agent can and save whatever the commission is, I'd probably do it as well. So they think they can do the same job as an agent and they don't need them. I think when you often see a for sale by owner, the reason they're doing that is they don't see value in the agents they've met.
So that may be a case of getting the wrong agent, not convincing them, not telling them what they need the agent for?
Well, it's an interesting thing. Most for sale by owners will price their home by having several agents out and tell them they're thinking about listing,
Yeah.
but really they are pretty intent on selling it on their own.
They just don't tell the agent. Yeah.
If one of those agents, though, convinced them that there was value in hiring them, that by paying them a commission they were going to net more money and come out of it financially ahead, they'd hire them. So when you ask me that question, I kind of smile, because I believe that a lot of for sale by owners put the sign up, whether they know it or not. They are actually hunting for the first agent and will list with the first agent that convinces them that there's value in hiring them. And quite obvious, you know, people tell me this all the time. Well, Irv, you know, I've got a real good friend in real estate. If I list, I'm going to list with that good friend. Well, what that tells me is they see no value in their good friend and don't believe that their friend can get them more money, or they'd have hired their friend. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I believe that a for sale by owner will list their property, and the statistics are usually in 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, with the first agent that can convince them there's value in hiring them. And that's a key thing. I've prospected for sale by owners for 19 years. It's a big part of my business, and I love it because I can help them. But as an agent, you can't help them unless you understand their mindset.
So if they're honest with you, then you can help them out.
Exactly.
So if somebody is adamant and they really want to try and they just want to see if they can do it themselves for whatever reason, how long should you let your house sit there without any offers, without anybody coming by, before you A, lower the price, or B, call an agent and get a professional in?
Well, I don't think it's a time thing, because I believe you're always going to be leaving money, or most of the time you're going to be leaving money on the table. So
Right.
I don't think you should do it at all. As an example, and you know, when we come back, we can talk about this. I've sold 2 of my own private homes since I was in real estate, my residence, on the MLS system. And when we come back, let's talk about why I paid a commission to do that.
And this is a man who works in real estate.
Exactly.
You're listening to Inside Real Estate with Irv Tremblay of Irv Tremblay Realty Incorporated. Turn the key. Call Irv today at 790-3753 and check out Irv's website as well. All this information and so much more is available just a mouse click away at irvsells.ca.
You're listening to Inside Real Estate with Irv Tremblay on Newstalk 980.